Om Swamiji. In one of your earlier talks, you mentioned the mental preparedness of the student. So my question is, in the context of Vedanta, what exactly do you mean by this mental preparedness of the student?
A student must have a reasonable amount of emotional composure. One should have one's priorities in life reasonably clear. What is the most important thing to do in one's life, and what are secondary. One should also be able to balance one's material and mundane requirements. Because if one is too focused on only one's material needs, then one hardly gets any time to focus on spirituality. One should also have a reasonable control over one's desires, not be reckless about one's desires, ambitions, and goals. Be able to moderate one's desires. And then in terms of one's own mental preparedness, so one needs to have a certain amount of ability to restrain oneself, both physically and sensorily. So that automatically comes if one has the ability to limit one's material needs. But the ability to be in charge of one's sensory cravings, that is also an important qualification. And then one should not live a life of hectic, uncontrollable activity. Because people generally like to call themselves busy. But if you're busy all the time, then where is the time for spirituality? So, but it's not possible to devote all the time to spirituality. But a very hectic life is also not conducive. So one should have a reasonable work-life balance, as we call it now. And then one should also have adequate amount of faith and trust in scriptural knowledge, in the sense that one should not be very skeptical of the knowledge in the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita. Because if one is skeptical, then you hit a barrier very soon. But if one has the faith and trust, then even if we don't completely get full clarity, then the effort is also work on ourselves to gain the clarity, rather than dismiss what is said because of skepticism. And then one should have the ability to concentrate or calm down one's mind, to relax one's mind to a reasonable extent. See, all these qualities are not available in any student in full measure. But to a certain extent, these qualities, characteristics are required, because only then you can build upon it. If one has one is against any of this, then it's difficult to convince oneself to nurture those characteristics. So there is no textbook definition of a perfect student. It doesn't exist. But to a reasonable measure. And then finally, one should also have this desire for freedom and desire for getting out of this mechanical living. So all of these is listed out traditionally in what we call sadhana chatushtayam, which we can look at a later point.
Thank you so much, Swamiji.